Okay, tanse, anitsuko. This is Ron McHugh with the Indigenous Spark Podcast. How are you guys all doing today? My Indigenous family, I would like to share a little insight about attitude. I was actually working for a power line construction company about 3 years ago, and we ended up doing our training in the main corporate office. In this main corporate office was where meetings were facilitated not only for the field staff of the power line construction company like us, but also the upper level corporate management, like finance, like the executive board, and human resources. So what does human resources do? Well, human resources navigates what influences and drives human behavior and what motivates people to get the job done. So what I had noticed in this room was this matrix and this graphic. And this matrix and this graphic was really, really simple, but it illustrated the importance of attitude and how it played in not only in the workplace, but also in morale of a team, and how the company will ultimately retain its employees and which employees it chooses to keep and which it chooses to let go of. So I'm just going to give you the little matrix here. It'll give you some insight into attitude and the power it plays in the workplace and in other areas of your life, okay? So here it goes. Basically, two axes. The first axis here is high and low and high. Now this high-low here we'll call attitude. And this high-low here we're going to call skill. Okay? So what they did was they broke it into 4 different quadrants. Right? Well, they broke it into 4 different quadrants, and as an employee, what they had seen over there was generally you could split all the employees into 4 different quadrants. And the 4 quadrants are high skill, low attitude, low skill, low attitude, right? High attitude, low skill, and of course the real superstars of the companies, and that is high skill and high attitude. So in this quadrant here, high skill, high attitude, these are the employees they're the stars. These are the employees that you keep. They know all the stuff that they need to know to get the job done in a competent way, and they have a great attitude. These are the leaders. These are the people that they bring up, and they climb the ladder very fast, and they also empower other people in the company. When you have a good attitude and you are of a high caliber, then you have that leeway or that position. You're in that position of influence, right? So they're the superstars. High skill, low attitude. Okay, so these are people that have a lot of know-how and they have a lot of talent, but their attitude just sucks. You know, they're hard to say hello to. They're hard to cooperate with in teamwork. You know, they don't listen very well. Those are the kinds of people that have these low attitudes, right? And I think we all have run into people like that in our lives, right? And so they're very skilled and talented, but their attitude just sucks. So these guys are not going to be kept very long, okay? Low skill, low attitude. It's my belief that people with a low skill and low attitude are the people that feel really entitled. They feel like everything is owed to them. They feel like they should be making $60,000 a year right out from graduation. They believe they can change the world. It's the idealistic mind of a newborn graduate. And there's a lot of you guys out there. I was one of them as well. But life will teach you, and the workplace will teach you that you need to kind of bring it down a notch, right? And you need to learn. Learning is a process. And that's what this podcast is also going to try and teach and instill, is that learning is a process. Everything takes time. And you have to have a good attitude for that. So that moves us to low skill, low attitude. These guys don't last very long. If they don't have any skill either, and they have a very low attitude, they don't last very long in the workplace. Not at all. Okay, for one reason or another, they'll move on to another job or just become unemployed, right? And of course, this is where the people that I want to talk to and I want to address is this right here. And this is low skill, high attitude. Now your attitude can take you anywhere in life. And I know these are the ones that I saw this. Keep and train. Keep and train. That's what the human resource people had put on the square. And I just looked at it and I was like, okay, this was an insight into what the human resource people at that company were strategizing about. Was if they have a very low skill, don't worry about it. Don't worry if you don't know. Just have the attitude that you will figure things out. This is called the growth mindset. And there is a book called Growth Mindset, or Mindset, with Carolyn Dweck, I believe it is. And she writes a really good book about, and there are studies behind this, about how a growth mindset can really take you places. Basically that, not yet. Not yet, but soon. And I will get it done someday. I will figure things out. There's a common saying about how in order to achieve something great and successful, you have to first look like an idiot and a fool. And that's where you put your pride aside and you bring your humility forward and just try your best. Trying your best is the great attitude that people are looking for. And if you try your best, and if you listen, and if you have a good enough attitude that will appeal to other people and in a team, I can guarantee you that they'll keep you in that job and they'll try to train you best as they can. A great attitude will get you everywhere in life, guys. And this is something that you don't even have to have out of the get-go either. If you do have a low attitude and people are talking about you, or you feel like you're getting isolated at the office or anything like that, what you got to do is you got to ask yourself some serious questions, right? Especially if it's consistent that you think that, why is everybody against me, or why does the world like this? Like, honestly, you got to ask yourself a question. Is it really me? Is it really myself that needs to change their attitude? And, life is a very powerful teacher, and life will humble you. If you don't humble yourself, life will humble you. And I noticed that about the Creator and what He does. He finds ways to humble you. So, with that said, guys, I want you to keep this little matrix in mind, and I want you to try your very best in life. And remember, you don't have to know everything all at once. You don't have to, get to the top of the mountain all in one jump, right? You can take your time, learn, and enjoy the process, and honor the struggle. All right? So that's me, and this is the Indigenous Spark podcast for now, guys. I hope you learned a little bit. Hi.